Hi, in this video we're going to be looking at planning online assessments. When you are designing your course to meet Quality Matters standards, QM is asking for a variation in assessments. And needless to say, a variation in assessments also is going to keep students engaged. So we can look at two different types of assessments. We have the formative assessments, assignments, and we have the summative type of assessments like tests. So some ideas, some we have already gone over: papers, presentations, discussion boards, blogs, wikis, group projects. As you're developing these assessments, you want to make sure that you are aligning the assessments with your learning objectives. Again, we have looked at some of these tools already, like what is already embedded in Blackboard, such as blogs and wikis. Journals might be another idea, which is more personal and only the instructor can see it. You can think about doing virtual field trips or virtual labs. These things are available online. You just have to Google it. Assigning group work, also some more web-based tools. Some of them I've already talked about. Some of them I haven't looked at. You can just click on the links in the PowerPoint presentation that I have in the module. They are malleable. You can use them for a lot of different ideas. It's just as creative as you want to be. So next, looking at your discussion board. We have done discussion boards, we've done voice threads. There's a lot of different ways to get students to engage in the course. Let's just talk about establishing some of the rules. You should have etiquette guidelines and what use of language you expect the students to have. I'm always stressing that they can't do text type of speech. I'm very big on making sure students have model responses, because usually just using rubrics alone is not helping them. They need to visualize what a good response looks like. So bring both of those into your discussion boards or any kind of assessments. How many students should each reply to? So set the parameters up at the beginning so you can get the conversation going. Try to get it, first posting the middle of the week so that, there's something to respond to. And also make sure that each discussion topic has a jumping off point. Don't just tell students to start discussing things because they have no idea how to reply. And also make sure that you have a strong instructor presence. One thing that I do in my regular discussion boards, and not like a voice thread discussion board, is I make sure that I'm interacting and commenting on the students as the week progresses so that they know I'm paying attention to what is going on. Also, as we have set up in our course, you can use the public board, the discussion board, as a public place for students to ask questions about the course. And I try to encourage students to do that so they can kind of answer each other's questions. This is a screenshot of options in Blackboard for the discussion board. So you can see there's a lot of different things that you can do to encourage students. There's one that you can have students, they must first post before, that's up here, right, before they can see other responses. And that's a way to make sure that students are coming up with some original ideas before being influenced by other students' posts. So you might want to try that. And of course, we have online quizzes and tests. I like to use multiple choice quizzes for more student type of self-assessments, and you could always use the analytics that are available within the Blackboard course to see how students, the entire class, is doing. You can randomize rather easily, so you can pull from a question pool, and every student will then wind up with different questions, so there would be less urgency around worrying about students cheating. Of course, if you're doing this, you also have automatic grading, which is always a nice thing to have. And my favorite is less consumption of materials. So let's talk about student cheating, because we know students cheat. It's something that is something I've always struggled with because I hate to have to deal with it, but they do. So in Blackboard, there's Respondus Lockdown Browser. This prevents students from clicking out of the quiz or copying, pasting questions. So that's a good thing so they can't share it with their friends, but it doesn't stop them from doing things like, screen capturing or, just taking their cell phone and taking a picture of the screen themselves. You can have a paid remote online proctoring. If you're going to do that, you want to make sure that you get permissions from the student and let them know that that's what's expected in the course. And then you can do other things like you just release the quiz only for select times and dates, time the quiz so they have limited time to do anything but the quiz. And as I said, randomly sequence questions. Don't release the answers until all the quizzes are taken. And I definitely advise about not using publishers' test banks because once it's been out for a semester, it's pretty much up on the internet and it's gone. Other considerations for online quizzes and tests to avoid cheating behaviors. It's like, well, what is your purpose for the assessment? If it is a review, then maybe you just want to have a kind of a self-assessment type of thing. Low stakes assessment, quizzes as a pre-test, feedback as a study guide. I give my quizzes as an open book, which is more about the students taking notes and being able to locate their notes or their ability to find answers. And I don't mean just understanding type answers or factual answers, but their ability to analyze something and then produce from that analysis. That would be like the idea of changing the question focus and having a short answer. So instead of students just being a rote kind of response, they have the understanding and now they have to do something to bring it together and analyze. Finally, if you're using paper type documents where students are doing research papers, you can use Turnitin, which is in Blackboard, or you can use SafeAssign. I almost always use Turnitin. I just find it a little bit more robust than SafeAssign, but either one is fine. It detects unoriginal work, which doesn't mean that it was plagiarized. So if a student has something in quotations, it will show up. And you will obviously just need to look and see if it was properly cited. Always inform students that you're using these tools and state it in the syllabus. And I like using Turnitin also not to be policing the papers, though it does alleviate questions if I'm not sure if a student has plagiarized, but they have grading tools, and I like the way that you can use the grading tools within Turnitin because it makes the online grading process simpler. So if you want to investigate that a little bit more, just give it a trial out in Blackboard and see how it works. So this is just a brief overview of some ideas about assessments, and I hope this helps.